I'm going to require that you take $300 every month, $150 a paycheck, and we're going to automate it to this separate account. If you promise to do that and you really do it and you automate it so you don't see it, and you do that for 8 years, you'll never have to invest again and you'll be financially set for life.
Imagine this moment. You're holding a check for $1 million. But here's the twist. The journey to this moment wasn't at all what you expected. You didn't get here through luck, inheritance, or some sudden windfall. And the truth, it wasn't what you thought it would be at all. Most of us believe that making your first million is about finding that one golden idea or striking it rich overnight. But the reality of reaching that number might shock you. You see, the mindset around making your first million is often flawed, and it's the psychology behind this goal that trips most people up. Today, we're going to break down the surprising truth about making that first $1 million. And I guarantee it's not what you think. Stick around because we're diving deep into the real factors that can get you there and some surprising psychological roadblocks that hold you back. But first, let me take you back to an astonishing story of someone you wouldn't expect. This is where the surprising truth comes in. Making your first million isn't just about working harder or being smarter with your money. It's about thinking differently. Studies show that our psychology has a profound impact on how we make financial decisions. According to a study by the National Bureau of Economic Research, people with a scarcity mindset are more likely to make decisions that limit their long-term financial growth. They tend to be more risk-averse, focusing on saving and playing it safe. On the surface, this sounds responsible, but in reality, it's what keeps most people stuck in financial limbo. But there's more to this puzzle than just mindset. Let's look at the numbers. In 2024, it was reported that only 8% of millionaires in the United States inherited their wealth. The majority, a staggering 88%, were self-made. So if it's not inheritance or some sudden windfall, what is it? Studies show that a big part of the equation lies in behavior rather than financial knowledge. According to a report from Fidelity Investments, the key differences between those who make millions and those who don't often come down to habits like consistency, risk-taking, and a willingness to fail. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that making $1 million is about one big break. But the reality is, it's often about small, incremental actions taken consistently over time. Take Warren Buffett, for example. Known as one of the richest people on the planet, Buffett didn't accumulate his wealth overnight. In fact, it wasn't until he was in his 50s that he made the bulk of his fortune. What set him apart was his relentless focus on the long game, making small, steady investments that compounded over time. In fact, according to an analysis published by Business Insider, over 99% of Buffett's wealth was made after his 50th birthday. This is the power of long-term thinking, consistency, and compounding, and it's not just about investing. It's about how you approach every opportunity in life. Here's where psychology comes into play again. There's a fascinating concept known as the status quo bias. This is the tendency for people to prefer things to stay the same, to avoid change, even when it could be beneficial. And it's one of the reasons why so many people struggle to hit their first million. According to a study in the Journal of Economic Behavior and Organization, people are inherently wired to fear loss more than they value gain. It's called loss aversion, and it's why even when opportunities present themselves, many of us hesitate. The fear of losing what we have can be stronger than the excitement of gaining something new. And this bias holds us back. So how do we break free from these psychological traps? The first step is recognizing that making your first million isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. And it's not just about thinking big, it's about thinking long term. Now let's dig into some real strategies that can help shift your mindset and behaviors. The first key strategy is to adopt what we call the growth mindset. This term, coined by psychologist Carol Dweck, is all about believing that you can improve and learn over time. People with a growth mindset see failure not as an end, but as a stepping stone. Take, for example, Reid Hoffman, the founder of LinkedIn. Hoffman didn't hit his first million by playing it safe. He faced countless setbacks along the way, but he saw each failure as a learning opportunity. Reid famously said, "If you're not embarrassed by the first version of your product, you've launched too late." This mindset, embracing imperfection and being willing to fail, is what separates those who eventually hit their million-dollar goal from those who don't. Here's another fascinating piece of research. A 2019 study published in Psychological Science found that people who set process purpose-based goals, like improving a skill or increasing knowledge, were more successful long-term than those who focused on outcome-based goals, like making a certain amount of money. So instead of obsessing over the number, that first million, focus on building the habits, skills, and networks that will naturally lead you there. This brings us to the next topic: investing in yourself. There's a reason why so many self-made millionaires credit their success not to external factors, but to personal growth. Tony Robbins, one of the most successful motivational speakers, didn't start with millions in the bank. He started by investing in books, mentors, and courses. He constantly emphasized the importance of investing in your knowledge and skills, because the more you know, the more opportunities you can seize. The psychology of money, understanding your financial behaviors. Have you ever wondered why you make the financial choices you do? Why sometimes, despite our best intentions, we spend more than we save or make investments that don't pan out? What if I told you that the way we handle money has less to do with numbers and more to do with psychology? Instant gratification versus delayed gratification. Remember the famous Stanford marshmallow experiment from the 1970s? Children were given a choice, one marshmallow now or two, if they waited 15 minutes. This study wasn't just about sweets, it highlighted our struggle with delayed gratification. Applied to finances, this explains why we might choose a shopping spree now over saving for a comfortable retirement later. The immediate pleasure outweighs future benefits in our minds. A 2020 survey by the National Financial Educators Council found that 76% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, often due to prioritizing short-term desires over long-term goals. Loss aversion is our tendency to prefer avoiding losses rather than acquiring equivalent gains. In other words, losing $100 feels more painful than gaining $100 feels good. This can lead to overly conservative investing or pulling out of the market during downturns, which can harm long-term financial growth. According to a study published in the Journal of Financial Planning in 2019, investors who withdrew their investments during the 2008 recession and didn't reinvest missed out on an average of 150% market gains over the next decade. The bandwagon effect. Humans are social creatures. The bandwagon effect is our tendency to do or believe things because many other people do. This can lead to following financial trends without proper research, like investing in a hot stock because everyone else is, which can be risky. The rise and fall of GameStop stock in early 2021 is a prime example. Many individual investors jumped in as prices soared, only to face significant losses when prices plummeted. The Wall Street Journal reported that late investors lost millions collectively. Understanding these psychological traps is the first step toward better financial decisions. But how do we counteract them? Overconfidence bias. Overconfidence can lead us to overestimate our financial acumen, leading to risky decisions without proper due diligence. A study in the Quarterly Journal of Economics 2018 found that overconfident investors traded more frequently and had 7% lower returns than those who traded less. Acknowledging our limitations can help us seek advice when needed and make more informed decisions. 5. Mental accounting. Mental accounting is when we categorize money differently based on arbitrary criteria, which can lead to irrational spending. For example, treating a tax refund as fun money rather than saving it or paying off debt. According to the IRS, the average tax refund in 2022 was about $3,000. However, surveys show that a significant portion of recipients spend this windfall rather than saving it. So here's the surprising truth about making your first million. It's not about some magical secret. It's not about one big idea. It's about shifting your mindset, breaking free from psychological traps, and focusing on long-term growth. The road to your first million is a marathon, not a sprint. And with the right mindset and habits, you'll get there. Remember, the journey isn't what you think, but it's worth every step. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button and share it with others who might need a mindset shift. Subscribe for more content that will change the way you think about money. Have a question or insight? Drop it in the comments below and let's start a conversation. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss our next deep dive into mastering financial success.